everyone. Welcome to the Mishmash Entertainment Podcast. This time around, we just have Miki and
Matt.
To start off this time, I've actually started watching Game of Thrones since one of our last podcasts.
Yeah, after the last podcast, I lent you seasons 1 to 3.
Yes. We talked about that a couple podcasts ago, that you would lend me these DVDs, and I didn't think I would take you up on that offer so soon.
But you did.
I sure did. And now I'm on season 4, episode 5, I think.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks, I've gotten there. So if that doesn't say anything about if the show is good or not,
just for anyone
I'm not sure what does.
Anyone who doesn't know, that's 35 hours of television in 3 weeks, which for some people that's nothing. I myself don't tend to binge television, so that seems a bit ridiculous to me.
I binge things, obviously, but that doesn't really seem like that much. Yeah. Not the number, but how I've been watching them.
Yeah.
Because I'll go home and I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes, and that's it for the day. But I do that every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3 or 4. The first 2 days that I've watched it, I started it on, you gave me the DVDs on, I think it was Saturday, and I watched 4 episodes on Sunday, and then another 4 or 5 on Tuesday.
Oh, did you get to episode 9 of season 1? Are we going to do spoilers or not?
Well, it's season 1. How many years has it been out?
7 years?
Yeah, it's a fair game.
Yeah, I figured, but the thing is, I turned, was I even 20 that year? Was I still 19? Oh, it's so long ago. I'm 26 now. But yeah, so did you get to the episode where Eddard lost his head?
Oh, yeah.
In the first 2 days, I mean.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's episode 9.
I'm pretty sure I did. I remember, because I had watched Michael and Gavin from Achievement Hunter play the Telltale game, and Michael was saying how when he first watched it, he wasn't sure how they were going to save Ned Stark.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, oh, okay, so Ned Stark dies, cool, because I hadn't seen it yet. But, I didn't think they were going to save him at all. He was doomed.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I remember, again, I did watch these, and then I read the books between seasons 1 and 2. So I just kind of ended up ruining a lot of the surprises for me, particularly the Red Wedding, which I'm reasonably certain you've gotten to now.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I even got to what some people call the Blue Wedding.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why they call it the Blue Wedding. I find he turns more purple than blue.
Yeah. I'm not sure either, but...
Shortly after I watched that, I was thinking, rest in peace. Rest in purple. Oh! So much better.
Yeah. Out of what you've seen so far, what's been your favorite part of the show?
Oh my god, favorite part? I don't know if I could pick a favorite part. There's been a couple parts that I like, but there's nothing that really stands out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I really love the Battle of Blackwater Bay, I think it is.
Oh yeah, the Blackwater thing.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was interesting, to say the least.
Again, it's hard for me to remember because it's been so long since I actually watched them. I plan, as soon as I get the DVDs back from you, I'll be watching them again because it's been a long time. But it seems to me that's the first time the good guys suffer a huge loss, with the exception of there was the Red Wedding, but they were losing the war in the North, but the North wasn't really pushing down too much.
It was kind of sad because I didn't really know who died in the Red Wedding. Oh, yeah. I just knew where it was and what happened.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who died, and I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, the show's probably even more brutal than the books. In the show, Rob's wife dies. In the books, she's still alive, even at this point in the books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she doesn't go to the Red Wedding because they were like, that would be too much of an insult. You have to stay here.
Yeah, that would be pretty insulting.
I also think it was a safekeeping thing. Just in case something went wrong, at least there's still a Stark. I think George R. R. Martin's going to have to write more books because he still has so many unfinished storylines, unless he just drops them like they have in the show. We still haven't seen Gendry hasn't shown back up.
Gendry? Who's Gendry? I'm trying to think.
The bastard, Baratheon's bastard.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. I don't know if you've gotten the part...
he just vanished recently, actually.
Did he row away in a boat?
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently he's still rowing years later.
Well, he didn't know how to row.
I mean, fair enough. They put him on a rowboat in the middle of the ocean. We're like, go free, run. Be safe.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and I was like, I bet he doesn't know how to row a boat.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the boat, and he looks confident, and the guy pushes him. He's like, you know how to row a boat? And he was like, no. I was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
And then he struggles to row away, and I was like, God, it's going to take him forever to get anywhere. He's just going to get lost.
Poor Gendry. But yeah.
I didn't know that was his name. There's so many names in this show that I just don't pick up.
And they pared down on it for the show. The books are worse. They've combined several characters. They changed Theon Greyjoy's sister is Osha in the books. And it's too similar to another name that I think they even changed the wildling's name, but I can't remember.
The red-haired one?
No. That's always been Ygritte.
See, I can never pick up her name. I always think it's Ingrid, but it's not.
It's Ygritte, I believe. It's just Ygritte.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm never going to get that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she's gone or what now, because Jon went back to Castle Black, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
You'll find out. But I'm talking about the other one that in season 1, Asha is her name, I think, or Asha, something like that. She's the one that they find on their lands, and she's with a group of wildlings that threatens to kill Bran when they find them in the woods.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, she's still there.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. There's a lot of wildlings in this.
There are, and there are going to be more.
There's a lot of names. Oh, I'm sure there'll be more.
Yeah.
So now, I remember in the Telltale game, which I only watched, I didn't actually play it, but they called the wildlings because they spent a lot of time with them, the free folk. Do they do that at all in the show?
They do, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I've heard many wildlings say that wildling is a mean name, but nobody's corrected anybody who said it, so...
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the wildlings call themselves the free folk. Again, the wildlings is the southerners' names, that name for them, right? So they wouldn't call themselves wildlings. Doesn't really make sense how they speak the same language, but that's just a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Because the wall went up thousands of years ago. Surely they should have developed their own language, since they're not allowed to get anywhere near the wall. They don't trade south of the border.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, like, even each, I don't know what you'd call them, races on the other side of the wall? Tribes? Sure. Yeah. They'd all speak different languages, because, I mean, there's the tribe that's cannibalistic, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't. Everybody speaks English.
Yeah. Just to make things easier, which is weird, because they have other places where they speak different languages.
Yeah, I was just about to say, on the other side of the, what sea is it? The Narrow Sea?
The Narrow Sea.
The Narrow Sea. They all speak different languages.
Yeah, there's several languages there. There's Dothraki,
There's over 19.
Yeah.
Because there's that one girl who speaks 19 languages.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking more in that you hear in the show.
Oh, yeah, no, you probably hear like 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's Dothraki, there's High Valyrian, which Valeria's been destroyed, but I don't think they really go into that in the show much, do they?
I haven't heard anything about Valyria.
It's where the Targaryens originated from with their dragons.
Oh, okay.
The doom of old Valyria. It's mentioned more in the books. It's not super... No one really knows what happens. It's just like a burnt and desiccated landscape.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's, nope, I don't think you've gotten there yet, so I don't want to spoil that for you. Never mind. That's why I'm trying to... I may be umming and ahhing more. It's because I'm trying to make sure I'm not saying something that's going to be a spoiler for Miki.
You know, I've heard a lot of spoilers, so it's not really a big deal. And I've also seen so many memes on Facebook and Reddit, and they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
But the weirdest part is how relevant they are to what I'm watching, and less so the current seasons.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I saw this one meme of each character. A couple of them are dead already, to me.
Yeah.
And they were saying, oh, I want the throne in this, I want the throne in that, I want the throne, I want the throne. And then there's the skinny guy with the short hair.
Littlefinger?
Yeah, him. And then he's like, I want the throne. And Sansa. And I was like, oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just ran away with Sansa to her aunt's, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
That was in the last episode.
Okay.
Tell you where I'm at.
She's crazy, and
she's crazy. Oh my god.
She breastfeeds an adult. Well, not an adult, a large child, like 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah, she hasn't done that in the show yet.
She does when you first see her.
She does. Okay,
yeah,
I wasn't sure because it was just kind of in this position where I was like, oh my god, her son is breastfeeding. He looks like he's 10.
Yeah.
She just holds him a little too close, and it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I think it was mostly implied because they did have the child in the scene, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure it immediately turns to him turning around while Kua entered.
Probably.
So I think it was framed to suggest that she was breastfeeding, if not actually showing it. I haven't seen the episode since it came out, so...
Moving on from Game of Thrones, because it's been talking about it for a while now.
Yeah.
But I actually did see the Telltale Game of Thrones, and so thinking about Telltale games or choose your own adventure games, have you played any of those?
Yep, I've played the one with Bigby, I can't remember the name of it, Fable. It's based off of the Fable comic series.
Okay.
Where everybody's a fairy tale character. There's Snow White, there's the big bad wolf, there's the three little pigs, and most of them have human forms in the form of glamours, so they look human if they don't normally look human.
All right.
That one was pretty good. I don't really know what to say about it though, unfortunately. Like, I played it when it came out years and years ago, and I did play Walking Dead Season 1, which was, I think that was their first one, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's the first one I heard of, and that one I actually liked a lot, and I keep thinking I'm going to go back and do it again at some point, but haven't gotten around to it.
I haven't played any Telltale games, but I have played the Life is Strange series, which is like a choose-your-own-adventure sort of game, but it also has the Telltale aspects where you actually have to play a game, but it has choices that you make within it. And it was not at all what I expected, but still exceeded any expectation I had, which I was so happy about. You essentially play as a girl in high school, and one day she just suddenly realizes that she can turn back time.
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute or two, not much. But so you have to go throughout this next month or two trying to save everybody you can so that nobody dies, nobody gets hurt, whatever, because apparently you go to the high school of hell.
Yeah.
And everybody's dying, there's drugs everywhere, people are getting beat up left, right, and center, and so you go around trying to save everybody you possibly can, but then you also find out that there's this giant storm coming that's going to destroy everything, so you're trying to avoid that and keep everybody safe. And it eventually all just boils down to one big decision at the end.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same in a Telltale game where you just kind of they give you the illusion of choosing your own adventure and picking your way and whatever, but really it's just one choice in this game.
Yeah.
But you can obviously see both endings. You just save at the and do both.
Yeah, I have been watching a playthrough that recently from Jesse Cox and Dodger. I don't know if you know who they are. They do Let's Plays and stuff. I only have one real question about that game. I haven't gotten to it yet. Are there a lot of high schools that act like colleges with dorms and shit? Like, everything seems like it's college. They keep referring to themselves as adults and all this other stuff. And it's
I know, it's kind of weird. Like, obviously there's boarding schools for high schools and whatnot. And I know in anime you see people living in dorms in high schools all the time, but I've never actually seen a high school in North America that does that doesn't consider itself a boarding school.
Yeah, and even other things that I'm not used to hearing about high schools, things like she's going to the school because they have the best photography course.
Yeah, that's a weird concept to me too. I know in Japan again, they get to pick their own high school. Mind you, they have to take an exam to get into it.
Yeah.
But they do it for things like that. But I haven't, again, heard of that in North America.
Yeah.
Because that's just, you just go to whatever school you're filtered into.
Yeah. I wonder if that's more common in, maybe even just in the States, but maybe in, bigger cities where there's going to be more schools because there are more kids.
I have no idea. I know my boyfriend went to school in Washington State.
Okay.
And Colorado, actually.
Yeah.
So, but his school system still filtered you in, and there were still rivalries between high schools and whatnot. Yeah. So there was another high school a couple kilometers away, but you went to the school that you were supposed to go to.
Okay.
You didn't pick which one you went to. You went to that one.
Yeah, that's the only thing that distracted me, because I know there are places even in Europe where it's similar, because you get your basic education done by what for us would be under junior high, 9th or 10th grade or whatever. And then you can get a couple more years after that of specialized education after that. And then you can go further on into university or whatever. But around here,
That's kind of unheard of, really.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to not vocational. What's that other? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna blank on the words because I can't speak properly. But you like a trade school type thing where they train you to do that even right out of high school rather than doing standard high school stuff.
Yeah, they were supposed to do that at my high school.
Yeah.
Starting the year I left.
Oh.
They gave it a bunch of upgrades, and they were like going to do a bunch of more stuff because shipbuilding here, like literally building ships, is pretty popular. I don't know. Irving is a very big company. They have a very, very big ships. They need a lot of people.
Yeah.
So they were going to put in my high school a lot of like equipment and class and training facilities to teach kids how to build boats and do mechanical stuff.
All right.
And so they got like a $2 million upgrade to the school, but they didn't get any of this equipment or these training facilities or these teachers to do it. So I don't know what their plan is exactly. But we still have a sign at the school, which is a sign you would have seen everywhere over the city the last couple of years, maybe a few more than that, maybe 5 years. Shipbuilding starts here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still have the sign there, though. I don't. It doesn't start there, though.
Nope.
Not yet, at least.
That is
so I don't know where they're
unfortunate.
trying to go with that.
Well, I mean, we did get that big contract, however long ago, to help build ships for the military as well, didn't?
Oh yeah, and they're there.
That's yep.
There's half a boat on the dry docks.
Yeah. Well, we'll get it done eventually. Lots of jobs for the Maritimes in the meantime.
Oh yeah. So now back to what we were talking about
Yeah.
before, and no, I'm not sure if we've talked about this before, but obviously it's been long enough to talk about it again, even though we were only on episode, what is this, 9?
Yeah.
But streaming services. So I don't usually use streaming services for just about anything except for Netflix, which I use on occasion, and to watch the remainder of Game of Thrones that we've been watching it on TMN Go.
TMN Go.
Yeah. So, how we have to get there to this website, because we are using my boyfriend's parents' Bell account, because apparently it's connected to a bunch of other stuff. But anyways, so you go to the Bell website, and then you go to HBO, and then you go to TMN, and then you go to TMN Go.
Wow.
And you can watch pretty much anything HBO or TMN on their website.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
How much does it cost?
I have no idea. I don't pay for it.
That's right, you don't. Because if that's exclusively through Bell, then I have no legal way of watching Game of Thrones until it comes out. And I'm not waiting until it comes out. I'll buy this season when it comes out, once I have more money. But
yeah, I also learned recently that the library rents out Game of Thrones.
Oh.
As long as you are over the age of 19.
It's not a problem for me. I'm a bit older than that now.
But I was also very surprised to see they have about 6 sets for each season.
I'm not surprised.
I was kind of surprised because usually they have like 1 or 2 if you're lucky.
Yeah, but this is the most popular show on TV, I think.
It is a pretty popular show. I was also surprised to see that, well, I guess not so much because season 7 is airing, but pretty much every copy of every season is currently being borrowed.
Yeah.
Which is kind of shocking if they have 6 of each.
Yeah.
They had like 1 or 2 of each one, but they were also way out in the sticks.
Yeah.
Like 45 minutes by car, but not so much the sticks. You get my point.
Further than you wanted to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get the move to other libraries, but that's a lot of work, and we also got the TMN Go.
There
so
you don't have to worry about it.
Who cares?
Yeah.
The only downside I find with this streaming service is the fact that instead of it being full HD, I think it's only 480p.
Oh no, I couldn't watch it 480p.
It's after having watched the first 3 seasons on Blu-ray, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as nice looking.
But yeah.
It's kind of disappointing.
It's such a pretty show to have wasted it to be watching it on such low resolution.
Yeah.
That is painful.
It is a little painful, but you also start to get used to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's already been 5 hours of 480p, or maybe it's 720 if they're lucky. I'm not sure. But it's not as nice as Blu-ray, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But we are getting used to it. Can still tell sometimes, just a little too blurry.
Yeah. That is unfortunate.
It is incredibly unfortunate. So now you were talking about some streaming services earlier when we were discussing what to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
You said you used some more for music rather than television or something?
Well, not so much music. I use Audible, which is kind of not a streaming thing, because you...
That's not music?
Yeah, that's right.
Whoops.
Because I love me some audiobooks. I have the Gold account, which is you get 2 audiobooks a month.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, it's something like $20-something for 2 full audiobooks, which is why I use it, because I can still, quote-unquote, read.
He says you do air quotes and then say quote-unquote.
Well, it's because I started doing the air quotes. It's like, I'm not abandoning this, but they can't see me, so,
you know. This is an audio podcast.
It is an audio
Sometimes we forget about that. But.
Yeah. Also, I talk with my hands anyway, so, that's a thing. But it's cheaper for me to use Audible than it is for me to go out and buy 2 books every month.
Yeah, books are surprisingly expensive.
They're like $10 to $15 each, but...
Depending. Some of the books that I read are like $20, $25, $30 each. That's insane.
Well, I don't tend to buy new books. I tend to look back through back catalogs where they're slightly less expensive. New books are more expensive.
They're expensive.
I used to going off on a tangent because that's what I do. I'm heavily into role-playing games like D&D and stuff like that. And I used to buy a bunch of those books back when I still lived with my parents and I had money for such things. But those books are like between $40 to $70 each because they're giant, thick rule books usually, or even the supplements are like $60 each or whatever.
Yeah, my boyfriend again has some D&D role-playing books.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got, but he's got 3 of them, and one of them was $60.
Yeah.
One of them was $70, and I think the other one was $65, and it's just this little tiny hardcover book.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, a lot of times they've got some like pretty artwork in there as well, and they've got, I don't know how they justify it. I'm sure they, excuse me, geez, sorry, that must sound gross. But I'm sure they justify it somehow with the amount of work that goes with those books and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure D&D is also an incredibly popular game.
It is.
So if you want to play the game and you want to be a DM or a GM or whatever the frick you call them.
DM in D&D.
Then you kind of need those books to really play. Yeah. Unless you want to, download them illegally or something.
Well, even you can even get... in 5th edition, they have some stuff that you can just access online anyway. I don't know if you could actually run a campaign, but you can get like the basics of most classes. You won't have as many options for them, and it's really, really lacking on spells. Like some of the best spells they don't put out there.
Oh, how nice of them!
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing. They want you to buy it. They don't want to give it away for free because it does cost them money to develop. But you can at least get a taste of it, see if you like it, and then buy it if you're into it.
Actually buy it, yeah.
Or you can just be a filthy, filthy pirate.
I found a role-playing game online once, just casually browsing. I don't even know what I was looking at, but I found it's like a maid role-playing game.
Okay.
It's like the weirdest thing. You essentially have a group of people. They all play as maids. They all have to serve the master, quote-unquote.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, like clean up after him and stuff like that, not the other stuff.
I'm sure you could get the other stuff in if you wanted to.
Maybe. I don't know. I think they have an expansion for that.
Probably.
You could download the PDF for like $5, or you could buy the book and the PDF for $20.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, but I bought the book. But it's a very interesting game. It was well worth the $20, if not just to say, hey, look, I have this book that says it's the maid role-playing game.
I can't even imagine what the rules are into that, or the appeal of playing it. Who wants to be a maid?
Surprisingly, there were a lot of people on Reddit that were looking to play this game.
Jeez, all right, cool. I mean, teach their own. But I mean, I can kind of see the appeal of being the master of it in that kind of game, but being the maid? Is that really what anyone wants to pretend to be? It's like, I don't get enough of cleaning in real life. I want to clean up virtually. Not virtually, in your imagination.
So in this game, it's got a lot of weird stuff. I don't know how to explain it aside from you have powers, you have cooldowns.
Okay.
And some of them, they have campaigns where you have to defeat monsters and everything.
So you're... Okay, superpowered maids.
Yeah, so, like... But they're not necessarily all good superpowers. Some of them will be like... Oh, it's been such a long time since I played this game. Some of them will be like, you can turn invisible or something ridiculous like that for, like, 30 seconds. But then your cooldown, and you roll dice, a d6, to figure out which one of these you get. You can't just pick whichever one you want.
Okay.
Which makes it even more interesting. So your cooldown could be, you have to go cry in the corner.
Alright.
For like 5 real-time minutes.
This is too weeaboo and weird for me, I'm afraid.
It is super weird. It's kind of cringy.
Yeah.
But it's also very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's still not the weirdest role-playing game I've ever heard of.
What's the weirdest?
There's literally a system out there that lets you roll for everything. It's things like, and I mean everything. You can roll for characteristics. Oh, look, it's DJ. Hi, DJ.
Hi, DJ. Say hi.
I've been here the whole time. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
You can roll for everything from your character's height and their, like, how fat you are, down to, like, penis size, vaginal width, and depth, and...
That's...
Yeah.
So what's the point of this game?
What the fuck?
You can...
I mean, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. For those who may not have been paying attention, why don't we just slightly recap a little bit?
Well, Miki was talking about a maid role-playing game.
Mage.
Mage.
Oh.
With
I thought you said
superpowers.
mage. I thought... Sorry. You said mage. I got excited. I was like, you mean like White Wolf and White Wolf, Werewolf Vampire? Have you played them? D10 system?
Nope.
Masquerade.
Yeah. That's the vampire one.
Yeah.
Sure.
But and then I transitioned to the weirdest one I've ever heard of, which I can't remember the title of. But you can generate a character with whatever you want. You can go.
So what's the goal of that game?
Whatever you want. It's literally it's like if someone. Do you know what GURPS is?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's
GURPS.
it's
pretty cool.
This it's actually a good one. It's you can do whatever you want. You can have superpowers, you can have fantasy, you can mix them all together, you can have sci-fi, and you can create your adventure that way rather than being stuck like D&D is almost exclusively fantasy stuff. You could technically modify it to be somewhat more modern. I don't know why you would. It wouldn't work as well.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's hard to say, like, for Dungeons & Dragons, for example, I remember, especially back in 3.5, how they had statistics for guns, pistols, rifles, and stuff like that. To have somebody get shot and then have somebody, like, use a sword to attack them, it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like you see it in different cartoon shows anyways, but when you're playing, like, a D&D game that's a medieval fantasy type thing, and you get somebody who pulls out, like, whether it be, like, a flintlock pistol or a rifle or a blunderbuss or something, you think, well, it's kind of, it doesn't fit. You know, but GURPS, the really cool thing is that was my understanding of it. I don't think I've ever actually played it, but it basically has this system set up so that, and then you just overlay whatever kind of realm or whatever kind of game you want on top of it. So if I wanted to make like a Final Fantasy role-playing game, I use the GURPS system and then just overlay Final Fantasy on top of it, kind of thing. Like, it sets the groundwork for your game, and then you just kind of insert whatever it is that you want to play on top of it. So if you wanted to play, like, Skyrim, you know, basically on your own. Yeah, so, people really like Skyrim.
I'm just going back to roll for everything.
Yeah. Roll for everything. That one's really weird. I never played that one.
Roll for everything.
Yeah, the one I was talking about when you came in, like you.
I mean, yes, of course, I know exactly what that was. I was here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sitting in the background.
Yeah, just waiting patiently. The door opening was simply just
Imagination.
Continue.
Yeah. I never played that system because I did download the rule book because I wanted to see what the hell it was about. I heard about it on a podcast.
Oh yeah, you don't want to support the actual people who made it. I get it.
I don't think you're able to buy it anymore.
No, sure, yeah, whatever you say. Yeah, all right.
It's alright. But yeah, and I was just reading through it, and you can roll for things like you can roll for flaws, and some of those flaws are diseases and things like that. And it's just like, the fuck, it was really weird.
Roll.
Yeah.
Gonorrhea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or you could have a character with cancer, whatever. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
God.
really weird. Anyways, to end on that light note.
Yeah, it's great.
It's about time to wrap up the podcast
Okay.
here.
No, it's just I wanted to talk about how you've heard of Jackpot games, right?
Oh yeah, just save it for the next
But
time.
I wanted to talk about it. Oh, fine.
Save it for the next one.
Yeah, we can talk about it next
We
time.
can talk about it next time.
My friends are horrible people.
I am one of those friends.
Actually, I think I got the ball rolling.
Yeah, you did.
I think I did.
You totally did. You came in and D&D. Here we go.
Oh
Oh, well, that's all right. Next time. So, thanks for listening, everybody. My name is Miki.
Matt.
Special guest DJ.